Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Last Saturday, I came down into the game room because I wanted to play some Super Nintendo. And as I was looking around at my games, I noticed something and it threw me for a loop. And it gave me a great idea for a video. So I thought I'd talk about 3 things that I'm proud of to have in my collection and 3 things that I'm ashamed of to have in my collection. And that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. So roll that intro. Well, before I get into this, I just want to tell you guys that this is just my opinion. You guys might see these items and actually like some that I say is terrible, or you might hate some that I say is great. It's just my opinion, but I thought this was a cool idea for a video, so let's get into it. The first thing that I'm extremely proud of to have in my collection is the Rev 00 Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this is just a regular Sega Genesis game. Yes, you are correct. It is just a basic Sega Genesis game. But this is a very unique copy because this is actually the Rev 00 version. And if you know anything about Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, there's a lot of stuff inside this game that they actually had to take out with different revisions of the game. So later versions or revisions of this game had taken those out. But the biggest noticeable difference in this original version actually plays Thriller in the game. Now, a lot of people don't understand what I'm talking about. When you play this game, there's a special move that Michael gets. You hit the button and he starts dancing and everybody starts dancing in sync with him. And then they explode and blow up. It's like a special move. But the thing is, when that special move is going on, only the Rev 00 copies of this game play Thriller. There was some kind of copyright and licensing issues to where in the other versions of this game, they actually play Another Part of Me, which is a Michael Jackson song. And it's very rare to find one of the original copies that are the Rev 00. And you're also probably wondering, well, how the hell do you know which version you got? Well, here's the thing. There's nothing that indicates it on the box or the manual or the cart whatsoever. The only way to tell what version of Michael Jackson Moonwalker you have is to actually play to level 3-1. And that's the first and the earliest time you can get his special. So you play to the level 3-1, do the special. If you hear Thriller, you got the original first edition print run of it. If you got Another Part of Me, you obviously have one of the later revisions. And Another Part of Me was used for every other revision. So I'm very, very grateful to have this in my collection. I got it years ago, and a Rev 00 copy nowadays goes for astronomical price. So I'm extremely happy that I have this in my collection. So that's the first thing. Now I'm going to talk about something that I'm extremely ashamed of in my collection, and it's Mighty Number 9 for the Wii U. So if you know anything about Mighty Number 9, you obviously are a Mega Man fan, because the person who basically created Mega Man, Kenji Afune, was actually involved with this project, and it was a Kickstarter, and it totally destroyed all the Kickstarter records at the time. It was the most backed project ever for a couple years. It blew away the budget, and so many tiers that it hit, and everybody was super excited because the godfather of Mega Man was, coming back, and he couldn't use the name Mega Man, so he's making blatantly a ripoff called Mighty Number 9. This game was so hyped, and I was so extremely hyped to play it. The bad thing about it is it completely sucks, and I don't know how else to say it. It's a total letdown. Reviews were coming out for it after it got launched, and it was just super, super big disappointment. And I did the Kickstarter, I backed it, and I got it for the Wii U, and by the time I had gotten my copy, people had already just reviewed it, talked terrible shit about it. I actually ended up renting it at the time, and it was an absolute dumpster fire. It's not good. It's not near as fluid as Mega Man was. It's just so weird because the brain was there who created Mega Man. How could he not just, duplicate that experience on a newer console? So, yeah, Mighty Number 9, just an absolute dumpster fire. And I have a sealed copy because I never opened it when I got it because I was so disappointed. Yeah, Mighty Number 9. So the second thing I want to talk about that I'm extremely proud to have in my collection is one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. I mean, I debate it as being one of my most played when I was a kid, and that's obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. What do I say about this game that hasn't been said? One of the best beat 'em ups ever made. It's incredible, but the connection I have with this game, I rented this game nonstop when I was a kid. I never got to own it, and the only way I could play it is if I rented it. And me and my uncle and my cousins rented this game so much. If I could go back and just pull the little card that they used to write the rental number down on, this number for this game would be on there hundreds of times. We rented it so much, and it's just a staple of my childhood. I'm so glad that I played it when I did, and I didn't miss out on it. I got this copy years ago, and I'm glad I did because the prices for this game now are just literally through the roof. It's so unfortunate. But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. I don't know what else I can say about it. Just an overall fantastic game. This is a complete copy, and I just remember playing this so much. I think everybody who loved Ninja Turtles played this game and was like, yo, this is the game. This is the pinnacle of, side-scrolling beat 'em ups. And everybody had their favorite turtle they played as. The only way I honestly think this game could have been better is if it was actually 4 players on the Super Nintendo. That's the only way this game could have been better. This game, to me, is almost a 10. It's incredible. I'm so glad that I have it in my collection, and I got it at a time when prices were affordable, and now they're not. So I would never have this game if I wouldn't have got it when I did. So that's something that I'm extremely proud of to have in my collection. So for the second thing that I'm ashamed of in my collection, it would be Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within. Now, everybody's going to say, well, why are you ashamed to have that? It's an extremely rare PS1 game. Well, because the game actually sucks fat balls. This game is so bad, it's almost unplayable. I'm not kidding. I used to try to play this game. I rented it, and then later on, I added it to the collection when it was very, very cheap. $50, I'd say, at the time. It's just unplayable. It's so clunky. I don't know. I don't like it at all. I mean, I honestly like the Super Nintendo version, the one that we didn't get in the US. I would much rather play that version than this version. There is nothing great about this game. The voice acting is absolutely terrible. You don't know what to do. It's just really, really bad, man. I don't know how else to put it. A lot of people hold this game in high regard because it's a very rare survival horror game. I mean, and they try to boast on the back here like 13 different possible endings. Getting 1 or 2 endings in this game is extremely hard to do. So to have 13 of them, I couldn't even imagine playing this game 13 times all the way through. You just don't know what to do. It's a one-hit death, and it's just not good. So when I added it to the collection, I was looking the other day, and I seen it, and I'm just like, man, that is just a stupid game to have. I really want to get rid of it and just, wash my hands of it, because to me, it's one of the very, very lackluster survival horror games that they have for the PS1. In my opinion, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Dino Crisis, there's so many better survival horror games, and this isn't one of them. So the last thing I want to talk about that I'm extremely proud to have in my collection is something a little different. Now, this is just a GamePro magazine, but this is actually GamePro issue 1, the premier issue of GamePro magazine. Now, if you guys have been watching my channel, you know I'm a huge video game magazine fan. I grew up with them. That was my internet for the time, you know. I'm extremely happy that I bought this issue when I did. I actually have quite a few Game Pros and EGM. This issue right here is so important to me. It's the premiere issue, issue 1, and it came out May 1989. And there's a couple things in this issue that are sign of the times, and you'll never get this type of media again. It was only $3.50 all the way back then. And there's a couple things in this magazine that are very unique. They actually post, you know, tips and tricks in this magazine. And one of them is for Metroid and one of them is for the Goonies. But the thing is they actually printed the codes wrong. So those two codes that they printed in this issue are actually messed up and they don't work, which I thought was really just a unique thing. And it also shows Wizards and Warriors 2 Iron Sword, you know, some photos of it because it was coming out soon. But they're talking about Iron Sword, but the photos that they show are actually from Wizards and Warriors, the original. So I just thought that was super unique, and it's something that you wouldn't know about unless you were just a fan of Wizards and Warriors or whatever. So, I mean, just look at this. If you're not buying your Nintendos at Toys R Us, you're simply paying too much. Just think about it. I saw this on the back of this issue all those years ago, and I mean, just think of having all those games when you're a kid. It would have been so cool. Yeah, these things are super delicate, so I'm not gonna flip through it. I'm very, very proud to have Game Pro issue 1. The last thing I want to talk about that I'm ashamed to have on my collection is Lethal Enforcers. I don't even know if I can put this in the entire screen right here. This is a huge big box of Lethal Enforcers for the Sega Genesis. I don't know. This arcade came out and it was cool for about 2 hours when I was, you know, pumping quarters in playing it. It had that whole real life thing, you know, real life looking dudes and all this stuff. I don't know. I absolutely hate this that's in my collection. For one, it takes up a ton of space, and two, it's just not cool. The game's terrible. But yeah, it's part of my collection. It actually come with the Justifier, which was at the time super cool, I guess. It says Armed and Dangerous. This game comes equipped with the Justifier, your Lethal Enforcer's video game revolver. You know, and you know, you never see a gun now that's a kid's toy that was black and looked as realistic as this. But what's weird is when you open it up, it's blue. So makes no sense that it would be. I guess they just wanted to make it look real on the cover. So there it is, Lethal Enforcers, with the Justifier and the manual. So kind of cool, I guess, but I don't know. I just think it takes up way too much space, and I don't like the game at all. So I'm just ashamed to have this in my collection. It looks ridiculous, and people always ask me like, "Oh, you know, what is that? That looks cool." You know, and it's like, no, don't get it twisted. This game sucks. So I don't know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, keep on reminiscing, y'all. Well, there you go. That's 3 things that I'm proud of to have in my collection, and 3 things that I'm extremely ashamed of to have in my collection. I know I'm not the only one. I'm sure you guys and gals have the exact same type of stuff in your collection. Stuff you love and stuff you hate. If you have any of those items, throw them down in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation, and I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, keep on reminiscing, baby.